Miwasa and Kixi Payao, Stephen Morsette with the Office of Public Construction, Indian Ed Division. I'm an Indian Ed specialist. Welcome to the 2023 Rotunda Day. Thank you all for joining us for this very special occasion, celebrating contemporary American Indian contributions to the state of Montana, but not only the state of Montana, but really across the U.S. Before we get started, I would like to invite my friend and relative Chontay Standing Rock to honor us with a flag song. I don't know if you want the mic. Probably don't really need it, but if you're near it, I guess. Okay. Thank you, Chontay, and thank you all for joining us. Specifically, we invited our IEFA exemplars from across the state of Montana and some of the poster series candidates that Zach will be talking about here shortly. But before we get started, I'd like to welcome Superintendent Elsie Arntzen. Thank you, Elsie.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. What a beautiful Monday morning we have. They were gracing one of the most beautiful buildings in our great state, our capital. Our capital at this point is so robust with conversations about Montana, and more specifically, conversations about education. So what a great honor today to have an event here in our beautiful capital sparking off excellence in education. 10% of our population that resides in our public school are our Native American children, but all of Montana's children are the ones that benefit for Indian education for all. My grandchildren, your children, your grandchildren, all benefit from the great work that is occurring across our state. I can't say enough about our staff at the Office of Public Instruction that put on conferences, that give materials out, that have a very robust website on authentic education dealing with our First Montanans. I want to give a great shout out to 2 Teachers of the Year that we have. One who's traveled from Baker, such a long distance to come here. Congratulations and thank you for sharing with us our 2020 Teacher of the Year. Linda Rost. Thank you. I also want to give another shout out. Dylan Huisken didn't travel that far, but still, it was quite the journey. One of the things that sparked me with Dylan was his love for social studies. And not only that, but for implementing what our Constitution states, which is having every student recognize the history, the benefits that our first Montanans have contributed. Dylan Huisken, thank you. Another Montana Teacher of the Year. So with that, let's go ahead and get this started. I am so proud that our Montana Proud series is unveiling again today. Majority of these are teachers. Every single one of them has had an influence in our communities across our state. And not only an influence, but what they are going to continue doing, as these posters will be distributed to all of our public schools across our beautiful state. Blessings to all who've traveled today. Blessings for the beautiful day that the Lord has given us. And blessings for all the work we're going to do to make sure that our Montana Constitution runs true with authentic discussion of who we are, who we were, but more importantly, who we're going to be. Thank you. Stephen, back to you.
Thank you, Superintendent Arntzen. I think I'm going to invite my Director of Indian Ed for All, Zach Hawkins.
Well, thank you, Stephen, for all the work that you put into this event and for coordinating this celebration of all these wonderful Montanans who are featured here in our Making Montana Proud poster series today and who are going to be providing positive examples of Indigenous representation in schools all across our great state. I also want to thank Chontay for being here today and providing us with a song. And just for those who don't know, he rolled in about 2:30 a.m. from the Black Hills. So thank you for that dedication to being here today. I want to thank the superintendent for about 4 years ago providing me with the very important but humbling role of Indian Education for All Director for the Montana OPI. I'm very blessed to be able to do this work every day and to work with the people that I get to work with. But today is it's a celebration. It's a celebration of Montana and our role in this movement of Indian Education for All. It's a celebration that we are the only state in the union that has Indian Education for All in our state constitution. It says that all students deserve a culturally responsive education, and that we as a state in our educational plans have to be dedicated to the preservation of the language and culture of the first Montanans. It's a day to celebrate all the Indigenous treasures that we have in our state, and I'll just share two very quickly. We have in Montana one of the largest collections of pictographs and petroglyphs anywhere in North America, a place called Bear Gulch. It's about 30 miles outside of Lewistown, where Indigenous peoples were coming for thousands of years as a rite of passage. And putting pictographs and petroglyphs up on these cliff walls. It's an amazing place. I would encourage everybody to check it out sometime. We also have in Montana one of the largest collections of Clovis artifacts anywhere in the world, and that's just outside of Livingston at the Anzac site. And we have, there's the remains of a child were found there that were over 12,000 years old. So we have that Indigenous history that goes back at least that far in our state. And so we need to celebrate that. But we're also celebrating the excellence of our teachers who do this great work all across Montana. And as the superintendent referenced, we have Mr. Dylan Huisken, who's a middle school social studies teacher in Bonner, We have Mrs. Linda Rost, who's a science teacher in Baker. We also have Mrs. Daisy Carlsmith, who's spent her career advocating for Indian education for all up in beautiful Trout Creek, Montana. And she's here with us today as well. And then, of course, we have the celebration of our Making Montana Proud poster series folks. And we do have a few of those here today. We have Dr. Shane Doyle. We have Mrs. Shelby Cole. We have Mandy Smoker Broadus. And somewhere, oh, there he is, Mr. Jason Smith. And all of these folks that you see here and in these posters around us are people who have done great things in education, in indigenous language, in public service, in mathematics, and science. We have an indigenous author here today. So we're celebrating their accomplishments and all that they've contributed to our state and to students across our state. And we want to celebrate the fact that Montana is a leader in this area. I think that's really important to understand because we have this in our Constitution, because we have the MCA 20-1-501, hopefully I got that right, that says that all students should learn about who Montana Indians were and are today. And that's really what Indian Education for All is. It's learning about who Montana Indians were and who they are today. And so we're celebrating all those things. And so I'd encourage those that are here to go around and look at the posters. I love some of the wisdom that's shared on these posters. And I just love the fact that students all across Montana are going to get to not only to see this representation, but there's some really powerful messages and what people are sharing here and what they're trying to convey to students about being lifelong learners and about going on a lifelong educational journey. And so I think that's really important. And we're also, a couple other things really quick. We will be having our Indian Education for All Best Practices Conference in about a month here at Helena College and Bryan Elementary School. We'll also be having a virtual conference in April. And so the work goes on to make sure that our promise of Indian Education for All is fulfilled. But I want to share in closing, one of the great things I get to do in my job is I get to read what people write in our online hub courses. And so this actually just came across last Friday, and when I read this, I thought this is the perfect closing for this Rotunda Day. And so here's what someone said when they were reflecting on Indian Education for All and what it means. They said, cultural respect and appreciation come through hearing the stories of the Native Montanans and learning about their communities. Allowing them to share their cultural values with our students and embracing cultural diversity in the classroom is a solid step towards appreciating the rich history that Native American tribes have to offer our communities. Our students have the opportunity to learn respect for nature, the land, Native American history, and cultural diversity. And so I can't sum it up any better than that. And so I thought I would share that. That's all I have. Thank you all for being here. Please circle around, check stuff out, talk to people. We'll be here. Oh, I need to give a shout out to Joan Frankie over there too. She's got our Indian Ed for All table. 40 years in state government. So we're celebrating her today as well. Thank you. Okay, do you want to do that? All right. And then Stephen is going to, the folks that are here are going to receive a copy of their poster and a braid of sweetgrass as a gift and a token of our appreciation to them for all their contributions and for being a part of our poster series. So we'll start out with Shelby Cole. Next is Mandy Smoker Broadus.
Sandy, it's been a while. It's good to see you. Oh my goodness. Nice to see you. You have grown.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then we have Dr. Shane Doyle.
You honor us. Thank you.
And last but not least, we have Mr. Jason Smith. Oh, sir. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yes. Wonderful.
Okay. For a picture?
Should we gift them with
Yep.
Daisy?
Okay. We also have, just for our folks that are here, we're going to offer you a braid of sweetgrass for our exemplars that are here. And again, just as a small token of our appreciation and a thank you for all the great work that you do. So we'll start with Mr. Dylan Huisken. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate it. We have Mrs. Daisy Carlsmith. Daisy.
Daisy. Daisy.
And last but not least, we have Linda Rost. And then we want to get a picture.